Well, hello, creatives, community, and kind folks. Welcome to RPG with DBJ, of course. I'm your host, DBJ. All of you participating live on the show are the co hosts. And today is Future Friday. And we are, again, delving into the, uh, the machinations that I have in my head and you helping me develop the Obsidian Star tabletop role playing game. And of course, we're going to be talking about post humanism and uh, all kinds of developments in science fiction and that kind of thing. But I really did want to give an overview of, and I'll show you some AI art that I've been using to spawn some creative ideas. Less promoting the art, and more like I kind of need a. I'm a visual person, so I needed some visual cues and things of that nature. Good morning, everyone, or rather, good morning from my part of the world. Um, Hello, all you guys from the various locations. Hey, Banat's back. His greetings from Transylvania land. I don't know if that's what we'd call it here in the states, but that sounds very cool. The Ant King's like a VR kitty. That's cool. Yeah, well, not necessarily morning everywhere else, but yes. As we reach another end of another cycle, it's time for Obsidian Star. That's really cool. So let me get the artwork up here so that I can share it out and have you guys take a look at it. Yeah, I know the whole. Listen, I know the whole idea about the AI art is basically has been taught on so many other artists and their particular skill sets and things of that nature. It's kind of they could have very easily done this with permission and whatnot, or at least figured out a way to have blank AI systems and learn off the artist's own, which I hope that's where we start going forward into the future. Like Stephen King as a writer could like introduce his own writings into a system that could learn how he writes and then he could use that for himself or something. I think that'd be just much better. And King says AI art has made me rethink Data from Star Trek. I still remember the old Next Generation line. He's like, he was talking to someone, and the lady kept calling him Data, and he's like, "Well, Data isn't my, Data is my name. Data isn't." And she's just like, "Huh, that's interesting, coming from a machine that thinks it's alive." Wow. So, for those who do not know, of course, Obsidian Star is the a ground roots tabletop role playing game of very OSR ish in its concept. I don't want it to be very I don't want it to be complicated or heavy or it's something difficult to dive into. I wanted it to be very simple, and I want it to become something that people could uh, pull from, heck, even steal from. If I even use the AI art, it's not going to be something that I'll make money off of because I really don't want to do all the financial bullshit with it and promotion and all that kind of business. So um, here is the here's the character sheet, and I decided to do something, and we're going to talk about character advancement. I want to talk about combat and character advancement. Got to get into all that, and I wanted to make a point about something. Ooh, what is? Oh, my phone's going off. It's telling me I'm going live. I think I know that. All right, so this is a a very um, high concept overview of the character sheet. I do have below this character sheet is one without all the weird rules and arrows and all that bullshit crossing over top of it. And I think I'm going to stick with these main attributes, the force, flex, fulcrum, as opposed to the vector arc vector arc axis uh, attributes. And as you can tell, I'm highlighting everything. As you can tell with the attributes and the approaches, there isn't any like strength, dexterity, constitution, because I in science fiction, it's far less important when we tell stories in science fiction from my point of view of differences between like charisma and strength and things like that. Science fiction tends to have a lot of problems that happen to characters and our main protagonists in science fiction. Usually, um, let's go with the Star Trek since we were sitting there. What happens in Star Trek? It's not about who can fight the best or who can run faster or um, or anything like that. It's usually solving stacking problems, and science fiction tends to stack a lot of problems when we talk about development, whether the problems are external from the environment or from alien species or exploration or uh, broken equipment or we all know we're given a base level of what the problem is, and then we're given a little bit of chaos, and now the while the main crew or characters are dealing with a problem that we know the solution to, the chaos makes that solution seem inviable. So now they have to come up with a different solution. And how many times have we seen things where hyperdrives don't work, a sensor array goes wrong, communications don't work, we're out of some kind of resource and we need to go collect that resource, and then stacked problems. And so in the game, we do have this conundrum, capital C conundrum, which are just basically problems and solutions. You get a problem, PCs need to come up with solutions. That's basically it. And so when it comes to the attributes, force is very direct. And if you use force, you, unfortunately, if you fail in using force, you're going to get a lot of um, side effects from that. So there'll be it's the if and no, yes and or buts kind of thing from tabletop role playing games. So using force will get you there faster and quicker, but a lot more of a side effect if you fail. Basically, like imagine pushing your way through a crowd. You would probably upset a lot of people, knocking people over, knocking over a fruit cart or something like that. Flex is in the middle. Flex is kind of like navigating your way through a problem as opposed to going direct. So uh, less side effects of failure, not as much as force, but you still will have some kind of side effect. And then fulcrum is taking all of the actions and all of your options and weighing them together and then figuring out how you're going to solve the problem. So force is very direct. Flex is kind of like a mix of the two, and fulcrum is taking your being careful and trying to achieve a goal. And so your attributes are physical, mental, social, but they all represent that. And with fulcrum, you have the least amount, if not zero, chance of causing some kind of strange side effect. So if you wanted to maneuver through a crowd of people without disturbing anyone and drawing attention to yourself, you would probably want to use fulcrum, so that you don't upset the crowd or draw attention or draw, maybe there's watchers or something like that in the crowd, whatnot. And then approaches are on the other side of that. And they're self explanatory: bold, careful, focused, subtle, swift, wild. And the whenever you perform an action, you pick one of your attributes, you pick an approach, um, and then you roll 2d12, and you want to roll high but not over your statistics. So if you have a 4 and a 6, so maybe like a 4 in one of your attributes and a 6 in one of your approaches, you pick two of them, you roll 2d12, you pick one die that's high but not over your stat, pick the other die high, not over your stat, and find out if you succeed. Can you both succeed and fail? Yes. And that's where you have side effects. You start creating these conundrums for yourself. Like, oh yeah, I did get through the crowd, but I also drew the attention of the city guards, things like that. Um, mm-mm. Press F to play perspective. Conundrum: shooting inside the ship. Yeah. No using firearms inside of ships. You really don't want to do that. There's going to be whole not rules, but different types of technologies are better than using others inside of starships. Yeah, is there anything you skin for pelts? I'm sure there will be. Oh, you're so funny. Shitlords. Your German crew will handle the promo. Oh, you're very kind. If all of your attributes start with an F, your word for attribute should also start with an F. I thought about that too. I'm alliterations and things. I fall into those rhyme schemes, words that start with the same letters, the same words that have the same number of syllables and things. My mind falls into that, and so I try to actually step out of that because it can get a little bit annoying, I think, to other people. So yeah. The End King says that's true. In Star Trek, you can have a superpowered shapeshifter stand next to a frumpy engineer, and both have equal weight in the story. Yes, thank you very much for pointing that out, End King. Um, I didn't want I didn't want it to be a power fantasy in the sense of like of personal attributes. Science fiction tends to flow more towards solving external problems. So, like you said, you can have a shape shifting, ancient alien standing next to a frumpy engineer, and within the context of the story, how do we solve the problem? And usually, what ends up happening is, you have a story where Batman and Superman both have equal weight in terms of solving a situation, right? They don't have the same abilities, but story-wise, Batman and Superman are equal in terms of their weight in approaching a problem and solving a situation and moving the story forward. And that's really what I wanted to uh, promote. So yes, can one character be like and I also wanted to take away this is I'm doing this design philosophy because I'm trying to move a little faster. So one character who is a cybernetic, bioroided out, like armored individual isn't more superior than like you said, the frumpy engineer who likes to collect old copies of Shakespeare or something like that. And that's their big thing. Um, so yeah, all these little arrows and little things on the side and whatnot are kind of the rules. There is a character sheet without them, but let's move down. I want to move down to here and this concept of pockets. So, and this is where we get into character advancement. So, every character has pockets. Your pockets are basically all your gear and your baggage. Pockets are not a physical representation of anything. It's basically a collection of all the stuff you have physically, mentally, socially, economically, or whatever, and you fit them into your pockets. Gear is everything that's positive in your life. So it could be investments. It may be a connection to a criminal organization. It could be a relationship you have with your extended family or ex-military buddies. It can be actual gear like guns and explosives and grappling hooks and such. And your gear can also be things like your talents, your experiences, and much more. So every character starts out with a certain number of pockets, and the number of pockets that you have is equal to your strive score, which that is equal to your attributes. So you begin with 12 points spread amongst your attributes, which is very low. It is very low. And what you really want to do is game the system. So if you've got 12 points, you can put like 4, 4, and 4 in each of your attributes. And it's the same thing with your approaches. You pick 3 approaches, you spend 12 points between them, you can just pick 4, 4, and 4. That doesn't give you a very, it even though you're rolling 2d12, it doesn't give you a high percentage to succeed. So you're going to want to game the system by trying to gain as many bonuses as possible. The maximum bonuses you can add is +3 to an attribute and then +3 to an approach. So if you start out with 4, you can add +3 to it, you get a 7. All right. And so that means you start out with a 12 strive score. Strive is like a hit points, willpower, determination. You can lose strive physically in combat. You can lose strive through social encounters, through stresses. You can lose strive through terrible economic choices. It starts to stress you out. And to further reinforce that, you have pockets. And of course, a character is going to start out with 12 pockets. Unfortunately, let me see if I can just reduce the size just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. So unfortunately, out of your pockets, you're going to have at least 6 things in your pockets already. Your conviction, your conviction is basically what drives you forward. Your foundation is going to be your body type, whether you're biological or mechanical. Your vocation, which is your not profession, your skill set. And of course you're going to have a description, like are you fast, strong, smart, perceptive, something like that. Your connections, which is like person, places, things that you are connected to. And then your location, where do you identify with, like the moon or Saturn or the Jovian system, something like that. So you're already going to have things in your pockets, and then you're going to have a bunch of gear. Unfortunately, you're an adventurer, so you're probably going to obtain baggage. Baggage is everything that's negative. So your pockets equal your strive score. Your gear are positive traits, baggage are negative traits. Baggage bumps gear. So when you start obtaining baggage, if you get too much of it, it's going to bump your gear temporarily until you get rid of the baggage. Well, what's baggage? Baggage physically is like stunned, blinded, broken leg, coughing and choking, physical things, right? Um, can you obtain emotional baggage? Yes. Angry, distraught, confused, upset, in love, things like that. Yes. And you start stacking baggage. These are just going to be, you could literally just write the word baggage and it just starts filling one of your pockets and baggage. And eventually it'll start bumping your gear and it bumps it out. Does it mean it bumps it out physically? No, it means maybe you forgot that you had a scanner in your back pocket because you're running away from some kind of Lovecraftian horror, or maybe you had a discussion with one of your loved ones or something like that, and let you know about a particular situation, and now you are distraught about that thing, and so um, the more baggage you obtain, the less effective you will become because it'll start bumping out your basic 6 things. It won't start bumping it out. You get to choose what it bumps out. The problem is it'll just bump it out of your pocket. And then right here on the side, it says pockets full question mark, strive equals 0. So if your pockets get full of nothing but baggage, or you start collecting a lot of gear, your strive score drops to 0. So your hit points, your willpower will drop to 0. And then you start taking damage directly to your attributes. So you have 12 points amongst all your attributes. The beginning of the game, you have 12 strive. Strive is like, let's see, if we talk physically, it's like bruising and stamina. Once you start taking damage to your attributes, you start going down the death spiral. That means you have less ability to complete a task, if you will, and that kind of thing. Um, do, 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 do. Mm-mm-mm. Do you use graph paper creators that the free music guy makes? No, I haven't used anything like that. I'm a very much an old luddite, an old dude. So I don't learn. I learn things, but not very quickly. Let's put it that way. Yeah, do cybernetic droided out guys ever end up with psychological problems? It's not built into the game. Um, but yes, but the answer is yes. The more roided out you get, the less space you have for being able to do other things. Let's put it that way. Tesa Benas says relationships and connections to criminal organizations as gear. Interesting concept, philosophical when you think about it. I couldn't think of another word that was high tech to represent like all your good stuff versus all your bad stuff. Yeah, like Shitlord says, leave your baggage at the door. That's and I really want to get that across, right? Like why why does the good guy not just draw out the big giant rifle on his back to do perform a thing? Well, it's because your baggage is the thing that's in getting in the way of your gear. Um Shai says, could you end up with baggage if you replace your whole body with cybernetic stuff? Yes. Yes. Exactly. And I want, this is a weird thing to say, but I want players to, the whole point is you want to game the system. You don't want to acquire baggage. And if you do, I wanted the choice to be in the hands of the players. Guess what? Another slot gets filled with some kind of side effect, like sprained ankle. Okay, you got a sprained ankle. What good thing, what part of your gear do you now not have access to? And as a player, you may say, all right, I've got some kind of Omni tool on my character sheet, so temporarily I don't have access to it. And then story wise, we come up why. I'm running from danger. I just didn't think about using it, or I dropped it on the way, and I'm going to have to get another spanner rod, or whatever the case may be. It's that kind of thing. So cinematically, when we see our favorite protagonist drop an item, forget to leave an item back, it gets locked behind a slamming door, or they're hanging off of a catwalk without banisters or railings or something, and an important piece of equipment dangles off of their hip and then falls into the darkness. That's exactly what happens. They acquired baggage, they lose a piece of gear. The Taste of Banat says, so the hit point system is way more intricate than D&D. Your abilities decline as you lose hit points. Yes. So the idea is, let me just move up here just a little bit. So strive basically are your hit points. And I keep using the word because it's very familiar, but I don't want it to just seem something physical. Strive is like stress from Blades in the Dark. Strive is your abilities won't reduce. Relax, take it easy. Your character's not declining yet. So you're going to start subtracting it from your strive. I was going to use the word drive, but the word drive is in star drives and engines and things, and I didn't want to complicate it. So strive is like striving forward, pushing through all the difficulties. So your strive is your willpower. No big deal, okay? Hey, you get in a gunfight or whatever, you lose 2 points of strive, you ducked behind cover, and the blaster bolts go over your head, and you're like, whoo, I almost suffer some harm from that. What happens if you're moving through that crowd and the guards are there? Could you you're barely, the guards are looking around for you. They've got like holo discs on their projections on their wrists. They're looking for your face, and you duck behind cover and just happen to grab a scarf, wrap around your face. They don't see you. You go past the guards, and you're like, woo, lost a little bit of strive there, a little bit of stress. Woo, had to keep pushing forward. No big deal. But when your strive drops to 0, now you start taking damage directly to your attributes. So if you want to make an example of like fantasy D20, this is where your dex, strength, intelligence starts literally, you start taking direct damage to your attributes. And that's where that comes in. So strive is like your you pulled your fat out of the fryer as a terminology, and then force flex fulcrum starts decreasing when you're literally getting shot, getting beat up. Um, I don't know, your reputation gets dragged through the mud. Criminal organization tries to bribe you or threaten you, or using blackmail against you, and it's really sticking, and you're like, oh no, how am I going to get out of this? So yeah. Um, Star Wars. Han Solo is constantly, when we were first introduced to Han Solo, he owes money to Jabba the Hutt, to a criminal organization. He's burning strive to get away from it. When he gets caught, he starts taking damage directly to his force flex fulcrum. right? So he's barely getting away when he's got strive. When it gets to 0, boom, he gets caught, and that's it. Um, but remember, one ties to the other. If you start taking too much baggage, you just start losing. You're tripping and falling. Your enemies start closing in on you. Your relationship with your family and friends starts deteriorating. You start stacking baggage. Boom, it fills up all your pockets, and your strive drops to 0. So, and then down here, bricks are a monetary unit, and so you can have a number of bricks, and just little things in containers that you don't know what's in them that you can buy, sell, and trade. So, um, with gear, we are normally associate gear with electronics, weapons, armory. Uh, but here's something for character advancement that is going to be that I think may be a bit unique. I've seen this. Don't don't get it twisted. I didn't make this up. I've seen this in other indie games, and I want to incorporate this into the game. Okay, so during character advancement, you can advance your character two ways. One is getting a bonus. You get something additional. So during character advancement, you may get a bonus of like you can add a +1 to something. Great, I'm going to add a +1 to my swift approach, or I'm going to add a +1 to my flex attribute. A numerical improvement, no big deal. The other way for advancement will be down here with your pockets and your gear. Remember, gear is all good stuff. So when you are in your own game, you may acquire a trait, and you can name that trait anything. We'll as a group together, we'll decide what that trait is. Whatever that trait is, you get to add it into one of your pockets, and it becomes a piece of your gear, becomes a positive attribute. So whenever you roll the dice, and you as a player are going to want to game the system, whenever you roll the dice, you want to look into your gear, and anything you have in your gear that adds to what you're trying to do, you get a bonus. And normally it starts at +1, but you can actually bring it up to a +2 or +3, and that's what these little squares next to your gear and pockets are. So an example would be, let's say your vocation is an engineer. You're very good. You wanted to make a character who's very brilliant about making electronics. So your vocation might be engineer, and you have an engineer basically of 1. You might be able to increase it to +2 or +3. So I'm going to try to pick the lock. All right. Well, do you have anything that helps you out? Yes, I have an engineer of +2. Great, you get a +2. Right? That's how that works. And you get to grab anything in your gear that helps you out. Oh, so I'm an engineer. That gives me a +1. I'm also from Mars, and we are on Mars, right? Yes. Okay, that gives me another one. That's another +1. And oh, I'm from Mars, right? Or whatever, right? So my location, I'm from Mars, +1. My vocation is engineer, and my foundation, body. I am I'm a cybernetic something, and I'm able to link into machines. So I've got those three things. Does that give me a +3? Of course it does, because you just gamed the system. That's how that works. When you have character advancement, when you gain another trait, that I can't tell you what that trait will be. Maybe you go to the asteroid belt and you have an encounter on the asteroid belt, and you learn something at the end of the adventure. You learn something in the asteroid belt. You learn 0G maneuvering. Well, guess what? At the end of the game, you get to write down 0G maneuvering, right? You just put like I don't know, 0G acrobatics or something, or what's a one or two word, um, aerobatics maybe, and you would write that down. I have a list of them, but I just haven't pulled them up. But anyway, you write that down, or you might have a connection to a criminal organization. You put down underworld on your character sheet, or um, any number of things. And so character advancement will be a list of your experiences as you maneuver through the game. And neither me nor anybody here can tell you what those experiences are going to be. Maybe and it is you almost get flushed. You got flushed out of an airlock, and one of your experiences is like escaping death. And we go, well, that's a little bit too. That's a little bit too general. How about how about you know picking locks or something like that because you were able to put in the code to get back in and close the thing up or something like that, or maybe it might be void walking. You can walk out in space and you're really good at operating in a vacuum or whatever, and you put that down on your character sheet, but that's personal to you. And then over time when you look at your character sheet, essentially every time you pick up a trait, it's a reminder of all the adventures you've gone on. So every character might learn something different. Maybe the more physical character, battle hardened character has more uh, physically maneuvering traits, dodging and running and grappling. Maybe the more intellectual character learns more of those things, or vice versa. Maybe the battle hardener learns more social skills as they adventure, and then the intellectual maybe learns more like martial skills and things. And so that's kind of how I want character advancement to go. So let me get back into our character, our co-host here, because I've been ignoring you. And I don't want to do that. Sorry about that. Took me a moment, but I found it. Incompetech by Kevin MacLeod is what I was talking about for free graph paper generation. Does all sorts, triangular, hex, as well as column and square graph paper. Incompetech, I'm gonna look that up. All right. You just have to then print it out yourself is all. Oh, okay. Incompetech. Look that up. Yeah, looking, they even have polar graphing paper as well as dot matrix grids instead of lines. I've seen that kind of thing and such. I would say check it out. Just look up Incompetech on Google and it should pull his pages. Sweet. Incompetech. That's awesome. He says, TA says, that would make sense. I usually just made a judgment call as the game master, but my point system had both pain and physical damage and was body part specific. I was wondering about making a body part hit locations, body part specific. That's very rune quest, Mithras kind of thing. I was considering adding that in and having like a spacesuit with like hit locations. I still might. I'm still judging it because the system I have is very um hippie, smudgy, and I don't know if hit locations might be a little bit too specific, but I thought about it. I did. Yeah, take too much damage to a finger as physical damage, and that finger is shredded or ripped off. So losing, say, a hand means dual wielding is out, and I love that kind of thing. So TA, we're on the same page. I know you're more intellectual, simulationist, right? Like, hey, if I get shot in the hand, my hand's gone. I don't have access to my hand. I, I'm still with you on that. I'm still juggling it, but yeah, I like that too. Which is where I want to have this baggage idea where yes, characters will I'm going to encourage that characters will get their heads blown off, that their arms will get blown off, and you don't have access to it. And guess what? That gets written down in your baggage temporarily, like up missing hand, boom, right? And you have to deal with the fact you have a missing hand. You're air quotes carrying that around with you, and such. But yeah, Incompetech potential Sambergot style a song title. I like that. Incompetech. TA says, but that was just a physical limitation, making it so it can affect the energy and mindset, deteriorating the skill capability. We'll have to incorporate it if I ever rebuild the game system. Go ahead and do it. Tasty Bonat says pain versus physical damage for all the grievous injuries you can't even feel. Yeah, and there's a little bit of that too that I wanted to incorporate into the game, right? Like you could have a sprained ankle that you don't. Okay, people have literally walked into emergency rooms with screwdrivers jammed into their skull, right? Some people have taken damage, but they don't feel it. And other times people suffer harm that really uh, um, um, incapacitates them, but they're not near death's door. And so there is a it's kind of a combination of both of those kind of things. There is a little bit of a difference between pain and physical damage, and the flow between the two. Right? I mean, people have gotten their literally had their arm or leg shredded and they don't feel it because of the shock, and they're still walking around. And you're like, how the hell did that happen? But it does happen. Shitlord says, "How about hangover damage?" Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can walk around with that kind of baggage in this game. I don't know the word. Listen, there is a connotation of the word baggage, um, like oh, I don't know, people in relationships and carrying around a lot of baggage from relationships and things like that. Yes, I am very much pulling on that psychological thread of hearing the word baggage. So I wanted to incorporate that into the game. And listen, I am trying to keep this rules light, and unfortunately, my mind keeps wanting to add another feature to it. So I'm trying to pull it back and reduce it down to its lowest common denominator. It's very hard to do that. TA says, I actually used a toe tag as my idea. Ooh, a body shape back and front so they can make small marks for indications of observations on a cadaver, but make sense to use it for deciding for it to use. No, dude, stick with that. I'm not going to take that idea. A toe tag idea? That's awesome. You definitely have to do that. Hell, you could get print. You could literally print out tags like luggage tags and make them like toe tags for like character sheets or something. That'd be awesome. He This is hello late. Just finished Fall of the House of Usher, which is a great series. I have not delved into it because I want. Unfortunately, I'm distracted now, but I've heard great things about it. Yeah, a little Lovecraftian type show. I got to see it. I got to see it. Yeah. TA says, yeah, I have issues for characters where sharp or edge damage causes a loss of a hand. They did not feel and only noticed it once they tried to use the hand. Then the pain roll had to be made. I like that. Ooh, that's a great way to represent shock um, in a role playing game. And Banat, you are absolutely right. Yeah, Taste, who mentions like, yeah, a hangover would count as temporary baggage. Yep, and all baggage is temporary. Um, how temporary is your baggage? It's based on your attributes. So if you use force and you suffer a side effect from it, your baggage, it usually lasts about a day. For flex, it usually lasts about an hour, and for fulcrum, it lasts basically to the end of the scene or end of the combat round. So let's go back to pushing through the crowd. I don't know why my mind's stuck on that. So um, criminal organization, city guards, doesn't matter. They're mercenaries. They're looking after you. You realize we can't get caught. They're going to flush us out. They're going to recycle our bodies. So I'm going to force my way through the crowd. Uh-oh, you failed. For the next 24 hours, they're going to be on your ass, right? Baggage might be hunted. And so you have the hunted part in your took a part of your pockets. You're being hunted, you're being distracted. Man, I can't communicate. They're trying they're monitoring my communications. Hey, I'm navigating back dark alleys. I see police sirens or whatever. I can hear them in blacked out Aerodyne VTOL machines flying overhead. Well, maybe if you use flex, it lasts about an hour. I push through the crowd, but I'm going to try to navigate my way through the crowd. Okay. Well, it's for about an hour. You failed. Oh shoot! The guards start coming after you. For the next hour, but they lose sight of you after an hour. Great. I'm hiding in the alleyway. Whew. I'm just going to have to pause for a while. But man, I had to wait an hour. I'm not going to be able to fly out or stow away on that spacecraft. And fulcrum is the least amount. I'm going to have to take my time. Blah blah blah. Let me talk about initiative, and this is very easy for initiative. Whenever force goes first, flex is second, fulcrum third. So there's no initiative roll. So force always goes above acts before flex, Flex acts before Fulcrum. That's your initiative. And then your adversaries will, they don't roll initiative. They have a force flex fulcrum themselves, and they always act second if they're using the same attribute with an adversary, a bad guy, maybe a giant robot or um, down and out engineers in the lower, maybe they're bandits or like homeless that live in the sewer system of a space hab or something like that. So if if they have a flex, if they use flex, and it'll be written in it'll just say flex 4, let's say. So a flex 4 bandit, what's another word for bandit? Thugs, right? So if a character uses force, they go before the bandits, and I'm gonna pull my pistol and just blow them away. But the problem is you might draw too much attention to yourself. So you go, all right, I'm going to use my flex stat instead because I want to be careful. I want to take these guys out quick, but I also want to make sure I'm not drawing attention to myself. I'm going to kind of blend the two. Well, if the bad guy, yeah, the thugs also have a flex score, well, you're going to go ahead of them. But let's say I don't want to draw any attention. I want to kill these guys, but I don't want to make a noise, a sound at all. Well, that means because they're a flex 4 thug, they will act before you. So initiative is force, then flex, then fulcrum. Um, and in order, it's uh, you're being more at the bottom level. You're taking into account all of the extraneous elements to achieve your goal. Flex is kind of like very quickly assessing what's going on and then taking action. And force is, I don't really care. I'm gonna just get this thing done. I'm gonna kick the door in. I'm going to jump across the from one building to the other. I'm going to, that's how that works. Sorry, try to describe it, but yeah. Thomas says, yeah, I had not incorporated endorphin release yet either. Had been an accident since though, and I know how it pretty much works for me, so I can add it should I want to rebuild that part of my game. Yeah, and like an endorphin release, that's all. And you can always make it numerical, right? You could literally write endorphins like I'm not building your game for you there, TA, but I'm saying like if you could literally write a stat like next, instead of hit points, you might have like biology or frame or something like that, and right next to it you could have an endorphin of 6, and to not suffer a negative effect, the PC marks off one of their endorphins. Now they're down to 5. Now they're not receiving a negative penalty to jump across the chasm, right? They don't feel the pain of their broken ankle yet because they still have their endorphins flowing through them. Yeah, Taysa Bernard says relationships, the ultimate baggage, yeah, especially if she's from Romania, does more physical damage. Oh, you're so wrong, but you're so right. Yes. In the game, let me see if I can. It will. Let's. I'm going to increase the size here. Bam. All right. Cantilevered right over here next to Strive, and I do realize that it's in a really terrible position. Um, to regain your Strive, it does say recover? Question mark. If you engage with your connections, you recover Strive with a plus 1d12. So your connections, you don't have to have a positive connection to a person, place, or thing, just as long as you engage with your connections. So let's say you have a terrible relationship. Maybe you have a loved one that you like, you're addicted to, and you two are toxic with each other, but you just can't leave each other alone. And your Strive is down to 3, and you normally have a Strive of 12. Maybe while you're taking a breather from that last gunfight, you call up the Tritio screen, you do your holographic thing and connect with your loved one who's like, where are you at? What are you doing? I hear you breathing heavy. Come home. No, I can't. I'm on a mission. Blah, blah, blah. Role play, role play. Roll 1d12. You rolled an 8. You add that to your 3 Strive left. You gain it back. Now you're back up to 11 Strive because you connected with this person. And it could be a place or a thing. Maybe you have a old timey photograph of a loved one. It could be a place, maybe a religious place you go to, or a bar that you frequent, or you grew up in the tunnels of Mars and you go back down there, even though you're much older and you remember where you were growing up running the tunnels as a little scamp or something like that. Um, and then conviction. You have a conviction and you instantly regain like 1 to 3 points if you just pursue your convictions. So that's how you can recover those kind of things in the game. But I really I wanted to reinforce the idea of, as you adventure, instead of gaining levels, um, and you can also gain points in some of your traits. So if you have zero G maneuvering, you might, in one adventure, you gain zero G maneuvering. So zero gravity, I know how to maneuver in it. The next game, you're like, man, I used my zero G maneuvering. I want to, because I just advanced again, I'm going to add another point to it. So I get +2 when I zero G maneuver. And then, of course, your third adventure, I really want to max it out. Now you have zero G maneuvering at +3, which is your maximum. Um, but your traits could be anything. And again, I don't know what's going to happen in an adventure, in a mission, but your traits could be physical skills. It could be connections to people. It could be knowledges. Um, Heck, it could even be something as specific as robot fighting, right? Like, I know how to wear, put on armor and like punch robots in the face, and it could be like robot wrestling or something, and you could put that down on your character sheet. It could be mountain climbing. Um, it could be swimming, or um, uh, gas giant. I don't know. What would be? I'm thinking of a squirrel suit, flying through the atmosphere of gas giants or something like that, right? It could be anything like that. Piloting skill, whatever the case might be, you get to put it down there. And remember, as you, the more you put in your pockets, the greater chance that when you acquire baggage, it's going to bump that out of your pockets, out of your gear. So the more gear you start acquiring, the greater threat there's going to be to you when you acquire more baggage. So the more stuff you carry with you that you need on your adventures, whether they are mental or physical or psychological or social, the greater chance there's going to be a threat to it. And so baggage, right here, baggage or negative traits, baggage bumps gear, and it's temporary. So it doesn't mean you lose it permanently. It just means, like, I don't know, that gunshot you took to your shoulder is confusing you. So now you as a player said, well, I'm going to mark off my zero G maneuvering. Well, you don't have access to it. It's basically a tag thing. When Heathen says, oh, that toe tag idea is great, I agree with that too. That toe tag idea would be great for like an FBI campaign. Definitely a um, FBI X Files kind of thing. I like that. I like it a lot. I really do. Maybe a day of dismemberment. You're so funny there, Heathen. Taste of Banat says, you can get over your baggage and leave it at the door? Hells yes. Yes, you can. You guys are going on too far for me. Mm, mm, mm. Choose how to decide on it. Oh, yeah, it says, oh, I meant the toe tag body images was what I used to make determinations on what I just needed to choose how to decide on a body part system, like hand, fingers, neck, head, or upper and lower leg and such. Oh, no, I'm with you. Like, I'm thinking of a blank, like a chalk outline type thing, like a body. I'm going to look one up. I'm going to look one up. What's it called? Forensic body tags. And let's see, we get some images here. And evidence. Not exactly what I'm thinking of, but I'm going to share this out anyway. Um, there they go. Chain of custody, evidence tags. But I know you're thinking of the one that's shaped like a human body that's marked off on the forensic thing. There we go. There. Here it is. Here it is. Like that, right? Am I correct? Just let me know. Mm-mm. The Ant King says Force is Lieutenant Worf's dream. Yeah, the stat, the yeah, using that stat. Yeah, I like that. Says no problem on that. RP, heck, I made it from scratch myself back in the day, not because I would not have had fun working with someone, but because everyone only wanted to play it, not work on the building of the rules in the system. And that always happens. We world builders disease, right? Like game, we're always constantly tweaking things and hacking things, and other people don't find the same fun from that. So yeah, yeah, I hear you. I do hear you. All right. Ta says yes, that is close, right? Like you could have. I mean, I know I just pulled this up from a search imagery, right? But here we have a body part system, and then you could have like numbers next to it. Roll a d20, roll a d10, or heck a d6. Head is 1, chest 2, left and right arm 3, 4, left and right leg 5, 6, and then you get hit in that body part and it has a number next to it. You've got 5 hit points on your arm. Boom, you took 4 points. Your arm is like almost useless, right? Things like that. So yeah. And then if you go up here, where's the other tags that I just found? Right here, depending on what detail you had, you could really write this, make that into a character sheet. Very much an FBI investigative kind of thing, but I think that would be really cool. Now I don't know whether your game is that type of game, but I mean, we here's another that didn't show up too well, but whatever, you get the point. You guys get it. All right. Allow me to show off some artwork, and only because I don't want to bore you guys too much. So let's talk a little bit about combat. So Tia says I use percentile rolls and then a secondary roll for something like the face or hand to decide what part, like fingers or back, front of hand or right or left eye. Yeah, no, now you're sounding a little bit like Roll Master. Um, let's see if I could find it. Now there is a game called Roll Master. Oops, Master Charts. Um, Roll Master is also known as is also known as Chart Master, and I'm going to show you. So first, I'll share out some images here, and then first I'll share the images, and then I'll explain to you why that is a thing. So, for those who don't know, there is a if you're not an old grognard like I am, there's an old game called Roll Master, and ROLE, but everybody knows it meant ROLL. And Rollmaster had a chart for damn near everything, percentile charts for everything. So I just looked up Rollmaster charts, and here we have people who just added chart, and these were compound charts, right? So let me pick one of these. So you have yourself a compound chart where down one side you have percentile rolls, and then you had to go across the table to find even other parts on the chart. So you had charts within charts, um, and most of these were like compound charts, and they just went on forever. And Rollmaster is it's one of these like you have you have to play the game to understand the how deep it was, but man, it was like, I mean, they had critical hit charts that were like 700, 800 different things deep. Pretty crazy, crazy stuff. Here's like a critical hit. Let me see if I pull up this critical hit. It says, remember these MERP, what is it? MERP, Middle Earth role playing, Rollmaster critical hit tables. and this is off of N World. And see, if you take a look at this, down on the left side, you had percentile roll, and then across the top, you had columns, and then you would look down, and it would tell you something like eye gets I don't know, arrow goes through eye, arrow stuck in skull. Um, make a roll to see if you can actually remove the arrow from your skull. Eye is completely missing, or something like that. You'd have like, you know, um, 3 fingers removed from hand, drop item, dripping blood. Blood makes a trail that can be traced by wild animals or something like that. I mean, it was crazy. Rollmaster. Yeah. Yeah, that's you there, TA. I had specific instances like when a coil gun was being used, since they punch through without doing much damage, but the shape and size of the magnetic round itself. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. Yes, electromagnetically launching projectiles will punch through things, maybe almost kind of cauterizing things as it passes through. But yes, Tia says, yes, that was something I had curiously explained to me, and it worked to make it as detailed as possible, like while still allowing very fast mechanics for the combat. So fight is not a session all by itself. Yep, yep, yep. All at the time I had it down pretty well, almost all of it memorized. Ah, okay. All right. Okay. Very cool. All right, we're getting towards the end here. Let me stop sharing this out, and then so we don't get too much. We're at the end of the episode here, but I just want to give to you guys an idea of how Obsidian Star tabletop role playing game works, some of its mechanisms. Also, there's going to be a way for the game master. I know that we love coming up with new names for game masters. Mine is called the Spiral Arm, based on the Spiral Arm Galaxy. But you don't have to use that. Anyway, um, bad guys, if you desire, you don't even have to roll dice. So a thug of 4 is that number 4 represents everything about the thugs. So 4, yeah, we're getting to that another end of it. So 4 is representative of their hit points, of their damage potential, of their ability to resist being hurt. Spiral, the DM of the dark future. Sorry, I had to pronounce it that way. It just comes well that way. But so instead of the game master, the spiral rolling dice, you just say they rolled a 4. It's a 4. That's what the enemy. You want to make this super quick. So a single number and a single stat, and that's all you need for your enemies. And then if you want to give them more detail, or there are adversaries that have more detail, like, I don't know, murder kill robots that are a stat 8 that have other abilities like being able to attack things from a distance and having sensors and blah blah blah. But it's really going to just be one number. Spiral into the void and drink vacuum. Yeah. So where's this these are some images I came up with, but um using I use Canva as my basis. And of course, Canva has incorporated an AI system. So you can tell, I'm not going to tell you what the prompts are, but the prompts are pretty easy to find out. But I did want to try to create like um, space ideas of different individuals from different cultures from around the world and incorporate them in. And so I thought it would be kind of cool. But I do like the little space cowboy thing. It's funny because I wrote it in as a prompt, and it's like they put cowboy hats on everybody. I was like, wow, thanks AI. Like it didn't even make it give any differentiations or anything. Sheesh. But yeah. So some of it is cheesecake. Some of it can be a little bit of cheesecakey, like this. Like, ooh, the spacesuit nice and tight around the curves. I'm just like, come on now. But listen, we love ourselves some cheesecake, right? Um, Tried to get some space knights. They really made them like knights, but that's because they stole that from scraping the internet and stuff. Different kinds of individuals. spacesuits. They love used a lot of orange, which is kind of weird. Uh, the AI art used a lot of orange for this. Um, boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Mm, 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 mm. But anyway, um, lastly, just wanted to say that what I'm probably going to do, I'm looking into using itch.io. It seems to be a great place where people are leaving games. I want to find a place to host this and have it laid out, easy to download. But I really want to try to get it on a drive through so someone could easily just get it and try to get it on print on demand. Not exactly certain how I'm going to do that, but I'm basically doing this by seat of the pants as well, and try to get some play testing in, things like that. Hell, I might even do like live play testing. I don't know. Kind of difficult to do that. Not sure. Not sure how I'm going to do it. But anyway, and I also wanted to really incorporate like people from um, different body types, people from different cultures around the world, and what their impression would be in space and leaving Earth and going out into our own solar system, because the Obsidian Star takes place within our own solar system, and what that would look like. Um, so yeah, yeah, kind of cool. Like I said, lots of oranges. I wonder if that is a after scraping like lots of concept art, whether like whites, oranges, grays, blues are an extremely common color, and that color propagated into AI, in which trying to use the systems, that's the colors they defaulted to because that's the most that they found out there in the scraping the internet when it comes to um, art and design and such. I think that's probably what happened. But anyway, so that's it. That's it. Yep, these are my thumbnails. Black Friday. Black Friday. People crushing each other, cars burning in the background. Yeah. But anyway, that's enough of that. All right, let's see what you guys say. Do before we get out of here. Space Cowboys, the first casualty of Obsidian. Yeah, true, 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 true. Mm-mm-mm. Very true. Taste but not decolonize the Space Cowboys. Exactly. Yeah, it was. There's a little tongue in cheekness of it. Don't get. Listen, I know what oh what's the term we know the historical context of certain things, and it's like, yeah, I specifically wanted to call upon those historical elements to bring in and go like, maybe we don't want to have that, or maybe we do want to have those problematic things, but we don't. Um, lastly, yeah, shitlords is like live play testing. Yeah, oh, I would hell yeah, 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 yeah. I don't know how I would do it, but I'm down for it. Probably because everyone has it in their head collectively about going to colonize Mars. Yep, 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 yep. So we can do cowboys versus aliens now? How about cowboys versus getting sucked into space when you shoot the hole in a ship? Yep. Hells yes. I pull my six shooter. I'm instantly dead. TA says, how far to the future are the humans that have had time to evolve for new environments? It's not, it's only like 200 years. So it's not that far, but technology allows us to modify our bodies. So there is a little bit of a evolution, you know. If it's been a while, I would love to see low G body types and people that are practically translucent because they have to avoid light because of the radiation with it where they have been living. You know what? Let's see if I can find another file. Where's my I got another file here. Planets. Not the best versions of things, but I do have another file of humans, and they are very. Oh, I have to share these out to you guys. Here we go. Let's see. Let's share this out and get here, and then boom. Um, let's share this and bring this up. There we go. So these are the little these are the rat cat bats, the little cutie animals and stuff, and the AI art did a pretty good job in getting across what I wanted to show, like these little cutie little things with like a combination of like bats, cats, and rats, and making them cute. It really did a good job on it. But I like this one. I like this one a lot. Oh man. High G people. Yeah, space barbarians and Amazons. I got those. Mm. Says we have those all over the place, almost house pets, but not quite. The same here. They're supposed to be house pets, but not quite. Living on starships, they some of them can be trained to pick up like small items and collect them, so they don't bounce around when under high acceleration and things. You see the little cat in the background, like hanging out, like, "What about me? What about me?" Oh shoot. Ha, reminds me of that whole Klingons have cats on their ships to protect them from tribbles, but then reacting to cats in very unbecoming of a Klingon when having a cat. Yeah. Same thing here. They sometimes they're the pets can are sensitive to like air pressure changes and chemical changes and things like that. Yeah, high G, we're having legs, don't pay off. Hell yeah. Yep. Yep, no legs at all. Oh man. All right, let's see if we can pull this. Let's see. Can I? Will it let me slide here? Come on. Hit the slider and get to the very end here. Or very beginning, maybe? I don't know. And then we'll get out of here. Do, 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 do. Not all this is the best, but I don't know. I don't know. It's some of it's not bad, but again, maybe not the best in terms of things. Of course, you got to have some Earth. I think that's a better image of Earth than like the super greeny thing. Enhanced. I like this like browned out, like ooh kind of thing. But yeah, we have images here. Do starships and such. Um, quickly go through and just trying to this image for me, I feel is like the the one that really encapsulate what I think the starships should look like. Right here at the top, this is the image I have of. Damn it, damn it, just went. Anyway, that's the image I have of what the starships should look like. Towers, more like skyscrapers, under acceleration, like the Epstein drive in the Expanse. Um, yep. Melting ice caps. Yep. TA. Martian cities and different other tower cities and things like that. Um, domed cities. Definitely Martian landscape. Some Cro-Magnon people created as like a slave race. Silicone type crystalline people. Um, genetically spliced people from for animal DNA. Aquatics. Very strange that they would put people underwater and then have them standing in water, but I thought it was pretty interesting. So I was like, hey, let's keep going with that idea. I don't know what that means, but it would be strange. Um, these are the drows, the androgynes. They're able to kind of like shift and change their sexual orientations. Also, you both equally freedom and a way to escape norms, and also used derisively as well. Let me see what you guys have to say. Yeah, Cro-Mags are regular people, modern man. Yep, exactly. Uh, um, uh, so no artificial gravity in these things. There is artificial gravity when they're not under acceleration, but yes, when they are under acceleration, it is pushing against their feet to create gravity. So uh, is it artificial? It is only created by physics. There are no artificial gravity plates in the world. So yep. Mm, mm, mm. Let's see. Automatons, artificial people, machines. Here we go. Moon babies, moony people, super thin, um, hanging out, very tall, very lanky type of imagery, without being too scary. Kind of very thin, um, thin bones, bone structures and such. Yep. Different skin color textures, from living out in space. Little creepy smile there, but I like it. But I like it. I like it. Mm-mm-mm. Yes, no spinning around ships. Got it. Yes, no, no. It's constant acceleration. Yeah, they don't fly like planes. They fly like actual zero G gravity people. Um, here we're going across the zenith. Zenith are like the perfect people. Physically, mentally, they're like they look good. That's who they are. These are like the perfect people. Um, although they're lacking something. Let's see. The age the adrenaline, the adrenaline. They are like space monks, basically. These are the verdant. They're like plant people that splice their bodies with plants. They give off oxygen. They're able to hibernate themselves, self hibernation, heal, that kind of thing. This is more of a mutated form of them as they start dying off, crumbling, things of that nature. Um, Humans with genetically modified skin types, purple, blue, dark colors to prevent irradiation. Mm-mm-mm-mm. These are the Neoforge. They use mental modifications, brain mods, to obtain different personalities, skill sets, things like that. Kind of cyberpunkish a little bit. Um, mm, 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 the Remos, remote operators, robots, drones. Here goes some of the cutie little things. Having gravity and all, one of the fakest aspects of Star Trek. Yeah, well, you know what? That's just you can't film zero gravity very easily, so that's why they do that. That's why it's become a thing. Yeah, blue skin equals no space cancer for me. Exactly. Yeah. TA says there's an infographics channel show where they explain how it was found that removing the water below ground causes the ground to compress, so the city sinks down lower from the ground compression. Yeah. Draining water from aquifers is pretty dangerous. You really don't want to do that. Not too often. Um, Here go the little cutie rat, cat, bat thingy things. Love them. Um, Ground caller vehicles. Here we have a bunch of other people, different body types and things. I tried to make heavy gravity to put a number of prompts in to make heavy gravity people, and this is the only thing I've gotten out of that. Um, Larger size individuals, body types, and things like that. So, yep. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. You guys can get out of here. I've your time is valuable. Thank you very much for spending it here. I'm glad you're able to do that, and I value it very much. But please, I hope you're able to leave the show, make some change. Here's back here, I want to show like a family, like a space family or something. You'll notice that in the AI art, probably because I'm in the States, you'll see lots of like permutations of what a United States flag looks like on a lot of the artwork, and I think it's just because of using like space and astronauts and things like that. It comes up a heck of a lot, but I'll probably modify it. Yes. What do you say? Got an evolved talking humanoid cat like in Red Dwarf? Yeah, yeah, woohoo, like Prince. Yeah. Yeah. Taste of Banat says, okay, end of show. Happy first of Advent. Ooh, forgot about that. Happy end of cycle. All right, guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. I'm gonna get out of here. Take us out with some of the art, and you guys have a great day. I will see thee much later. Peace and tranquility. You guys don't have to stop doing this, but yeah, that is hear me talk. Whatever. Wanted to show some Martian people. Their faces faces scarred by the sand and winds, and then used as an artistic part of their culture. So the scars of the face, walking out wearing the masks and things like that, that harsh environment of Mars, kind of embracing it as a cultural identity of sorts. Of course, we have here the the AGI, the AGIs, the artificial general intelligences, the people and gas giants and toxic places. Some artwork here. Some of it I like, some of it I didn't. Different relationships that people have. Got to have some cyberpunks. Um, Holo sapiens, individuals that are just nothing but light. Guys, have a great one. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah. You guys see this? Plastic humanoids, roided out people. Kind of like this. I like the green that was inserted into here, into the arms and legs of the one of the female feline warriors on the side. I like that. I like that a lot. Looks like a little kid. There's some cheesecake, three arms. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Some of this stuff I saved. Some of it, like I saved, just to have a visual identity. Some of it, I'm probably going to just end up modifying and keeping. Others, I'm just going to get rid of it. But I like the concept of it. Clones here, the clones, the Kresh. They all look pissed off. I don't know why they look pissed off. Aliens. You know, it won't. As much as I tried, it won't allow me to insert putting hands on the feet of the subjects. So the closest I could get to it are like monkey-like people. You got some images of, and then some landscapes here. You guys are funny. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Different, some real images of different planets. Going back to some concept art. There's a brick, plastic container. I don't know if I'll have it if it would be clear, but anyway, guys, thank you so much for being part of the show. No lycanthropes. They're not necessarily lycanthropes. So you don't catch it, but you could absolutely have your DNA spliced to become those. Um, I'm thinking that they are left over from like old wars where people were doing that, like genetically altering soldiers and then throwing them out there, and then realize like, yeah. TA says, yeah, AI prompt building is like a combination of both programming a computer and convincing a child to go to bed on time. T-shirt. Slow clap on that one. We're going out on that one. Yeah. Yeah. To be honest with you, the way the systems work for me, um, it feels like you have to put too much work to get what you want. It's almost better to do it yourself than to use some of these AI systems. And they always want to go towards the middle. They don't really like extremes of things. So yeah, they're a tool. They're not going to take over anytime soon. They're not technically AI. You know that, TA. They're not technically AI at all. But yeah, pretty interesting systems there. Pretty interesting. Let me go back. Let me go back to our cat warrior here. Sorry about the clickety clack click. Where's she at? Where is she at? She's kind of cool. Oh, here's an artifact that I kept on purpose. 3 arms. Um, I didn't ask for it to give me 3 arms, but it's an AI artifact that did it, and I was like, that's actually kind of cool. A little too cheesecakey for me. I mean, well, to an extent, are would there be like good looking people in the world that would be like this? Yeah, there's a certain small percentage, but sometimes when it gets a little too cheesecake, I'm just like, come on now. Does everybody got their hip out? Every chick got their hip out and stuff. It's a little bit ridiculous, but yeah, me likes. Yeah, this she's pretty cool. Um, ve- I didn't use the word tiger. I said predator. And the first thing they did is start grabbing tiger things. You can see here in the image, there's a little bit of an artifact on the left hand of the guy in the middle of the subject in the middle. AI still has a hard time with fingers, but at least with claws, they're pretty. You just come down to points and whatnot. But I do like the fact that they kind of made her um, predatory, tiger faced, muscular lean body, and then kind of a environmental, like are they, I mean, is that supposed to be skin? Is it like lizard like? Is it just camouflage? So I really like that. I like the concept art of it. um as I've gotten older, I've found that I like splatterpunk art where it's kind of it's kind of sketchy, watercolory, kind of thing. So yeah. So it's Total Recall Revisited, just a different 3. Yeah, 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 yeah. A little bit like that. I agree. I agree. But yeah, I guess maybe I'm just a person who I get inspired by images and imagery, and so yeah, just I just get inspired by these things, and then it just makes me go like, oh yeah, 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 yeah. I like that. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. And again, like I said, if I do end up using any or some of it or even all of it, there's not going to be a fee for it because I don't want to deal with the. I'm not going to be a financial guy, and I just like creating stuff. And thought, oh, I know, going too long. Side note, I never mind. We'll do it next week. Cool name goes here, part of a Kickstarter. My writing process is going to be part of the exploration portion of this thing. So yeah, yep, inspired by imagery. I'm a very visual person, so yeah, that imagery really has pulled to me and stuff. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. I said goodbye like 18 times, but this last time I was joking. This time I'm for real. Have a great one. You guys have a great weekend. I will see thee next week. Peace and tranquility. Thank you.